Yo, what's up everybody? It's Steve the Amateur Historian. I don't have a boatload of time, but I'm just killing off a break. It's like 89 degrees outside, but it's not too bad back here, bugging my eye. Alright, I'm fine. So, got another little piece of Portland lore. Wheeler defends homeless response. I talk a lot about the homeless issue in Portland because it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and the people that should be most adept at addressing it aren't doing really anything effective. Wheeler defends homeless response, but in here, first line, Ted Wheeler admits he underestimated the magnitude of the homeless crisis when he ran for mayor in 2016, and that it's likely to get visibly worse in Portland before it gets better, which sounds to me like a very sneaky way of saying it's gonna look like it's getting worse, but don't worry, it's not, which is about as much of a political cover as you can get. Maybe that's not what it means, but that's what it sounds like. It seems like the word visibly doesn't really belong there. Wheeler made the admissions when he appeared before the Portland Tribune editorial board. When Wheeler first ran for mayor, he promised to provide enough shelter space for half the people living on the streets by the end of his second year in office, which obviously has not happened. So, literally in those first couple paragraphs, the mayor essentially admits he made a promise without understanding the problem. He underestimated the problem. That's a nice way of saying he didn't understand it. He didn't put in the due diligence to fully understand it, and yet made promises so that people would vote for him. He's literally admitting that he lied his frickin' ass off, or at the very least he's doesn't really know how to handle situations. So he just says this is going to happen. Although the city and Multnomah County have doubled the number of shelter beds since he won the election, which, fine, it's not like a lot of homeless people are going to just find their way to those shelters by themselves anyway. Wheeler conceded that more people appear to be living outdoors now than ever before. Great observation. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of now that I'm actually a Portland resident in the city limits of Portland. He's my mayor now, and don't like him. Not exactly a unique perspective. It's a lot harder, absolutely. This is a quote from him. It's a lot harder. I'll cop to that any second of the day. Okay. Wheeler said about his campaign promises. Yeah, guy didn't know what he was getting himself into, obviously, because he doesn't know how to fix anything. He doesn't have the skill set, obviously. There he admits, oh, I thought it was going to be like this, and it ended up being like this. Well, have some humility when you go in then, and acknowledge that you don't know everything, and don't make promises that you're in no position to make. Duh. I mean, I feel like I understand the homeless problem more than he did when he made these promises, and I only know based on what I've seen and read. I'm not a politician. I'm not someone in place to see all of the raw data. I mean, obviously it's potentially out there, but I'm just a random citizen, and it seems like I understood this situation better than our mayor. And that's very troubling. His quote goes on, I don't think any of us had clarity on the depth of the issue. Sounds like a convenient sidestep. I will certainly say for my own part, I certainly had no idea that the United States would be at a true economic pinnacle, and yet all across this country, and it isn't just the West Coast, folks. Wait, what? I will certainly say for my own part, I certainly had no idea that the United States would be at a true economic pinnacle, and it isn't just... That doesn't sound like a proper sentence to me. I'm moving on, because I may be just reading that wrong. Despite that, Wheeler believes the region is moving in the right direction to reduce the number of people without homes in years to come. Okay. He pointed to the tens of millions of dollars the city and county is spending on the Joint Office of Homeless Services, voter approval of the Portland and Metro Affordable Housing Bonds, and the City Council's commitment to create 2,000 additional unit of permanence supportive housing, which includes social services to help prevent residents from becoming homeless again. Okay, that all sounds good, but what is this? Wheeler believes, he pointed to the tens of millions. So yeah, he's pointing to all this stuff that are more promises. Well, you didn't keep your first promise, asshole. So what reason do we have to believe that all this stuff's going to happen? I hope it does if it's going to be beneficial, or if it's going to go the way that you're trying to convince us it's going. And I don't exactly have a lot of faith in the politicians of this city. But at the same time, Wheeler was quick to say more needs to be done. Well, yeah, because you don't do anything. I believe we have some of the right formulas, but not at the right scale. He talks such a good freaking game. He just makes it all sound just like, oh, I know it hasn't been right, but I'll get it all figured out for you. And it's nonsense. I'm tired of listening to it. Wheeler spoke after he proposed a budget for the fiscal year that begins on July 1st. July. God, there's a lot of spelling errors in this. Coin 6. Get it together. July 1 that dedicates nearly 7% of the discretionary general fund dollars to direct homeless services. The largest amount ever, and a significant increase over just a few years ago. It's a very unreliable thing. There's so much misspelling. More quotes. We went from basically zero to $33 million just at the city of Portland over the course of a couple of years in terms of what we're spending specifically on the homeless crisis. That doesn't even include the housing. You mean like the $3 million we spent cleaning up homeless camps, seeing as it seems the most effective solution the city has chosen to pursue is letting homeless people live in an area for a while, then saying, all right, gotta move. They move over here for a week. Oh, gotta move again. Live over here for 2 weeks. And every time you make those homeless camps move, there's trash there to be picked up. I read the city of Portland spent over $3 million just in homeless camp cleanups because they can't find a legitimate solution, apparently. Blah, 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 blah. Other existing and new city-only direct homeless service programs brings the proposed general fund total to $38.5 million, or almost 7% of the record $577.3 million general fund dollars projected to be collected this year. Projected to be collected, which means it's not a definitive number. Hopefully it's at least close. And that does not even count the estimated $10 million a year being spent by other general fund agencies, Portland Police, Portland Fire, all these things. So Wheeler said the increased spending has already allowed Portland to improve its response to the homeless crisis. I have an itch. Including taking over the cleanup of camps on Oregon Department of Transportation properties within the city limits. There's more money spent just on cleanup. The year before I got to City Hall, that was me, just 3 years ago, the city of Portland cleaned up, I believe it was 139 camps total. This year we will have cleaned up over 3,000 camps. See how he twists that? He makes it like we're being so much more effective. We're cleaning up so many camps. Well, all you're doing is every so often telling these people they need to move. And every time you make those people move, they establish a new camp. The mere fact that you're acknowledging that there's like 3,000 some camps and that the number of camps have dramatically increased is a representation of the fact that your solution is to just run people off. So they keep establishing new camps and then coming back to the campsite they were at before. That's why there's so many damn campsites you have to clean up. That's a representation of you not taking care of the problem. It's not a representation necessarily at its core of just the homeless population growing. Obviously that's happening, but not at a rate of 139 to 3,000. What happened? My phone freaked out. Yeah. God, I hate this phone. But yeah, so I love that little twist, making it like there's been so many more homeless camps and we've taken care of so many of them, or you're just running these people all over town. Big ass accomplishment. I don't think anybody would argue if they don't have a house. Okay, talking about the other counties. Sorry, it recycled on me. Okay, here we go. Despite the increased spending, Wheeler said Portland and other cities are fighting against multiple trends creating homelessness, including increased housing costs, which he conveniently probably doesn't want to deal with because he's in the pocket of developers. Why is all this crap popping up? Especially in West Coast cities, a drug addiction epidemic, at least he acknowledges that, as well as, mental illness, a lack of mental health treatment programs. Yeah, no shit. When I get together with my colleagues from all across the country, people are amazed by how quick this crisis is unfolding from Hawaii and Maine. It's happening everywhere, and the drivers are the same. So you're stunned that there's these massive problems all over the country. Well, maybe if you and, I don't know, any other politician would get your head out of your ass and try to pursue solutions, maybe it wouldn't be such a quickly unfolding crisis. Like, are you fucking stupid? And here's just more blah, 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 yeah, yeah. Everybody else has it just as bad as us. Trust me, I lived in Clackamas County. I saw maybe 20 homeless people in about 17 years. I'm not to say that there's not some there. As an elected, this is more Ted Wheeler talking. As an elected official, I know I'm supposed to say nothing. But it's only going to get better from here. I just want to like smash my head through this brick wall. But I personally don't believe that, so I'm not going to tell you that, okay? Alright, well, good. I'm glad he said that. Not that he's faking humility as far as I'm concerned. We're in this for the long haul. Some more of this, the Iraq war is not going to be won overnight. There are no easy answers to this problem. Yeah, but you're not even trying to pursue hard answers. You're just pursuing shit answers. If there were easy answers, they'd already be found. God. And then, yes, Wheeler's running for re-election. Well, I pray you don't win, because we need a mayor who actually gives a shit about this city. Even half a shit. God. This is... You wonder why there's such a big homeless problem. This is the guy that's our freaking mayor, He wonders why nobody likes him. Anyway, my break's almost over. I gotta go back. Just keeping you all up to speed on the stupidity. Catch you later.